Hey there, Fletcher from All Things Overlanding here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about Midland's newest mountable radio, the MXT115P. Now, I've run an MXT275, which is also a 15-watt radio, just like this one, for the last 4 or 5 years across 3 different vehicles, and it's been fantastic. So what does this have that the MXT275 doesn't? Today I'm going to walk you through that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the upgrades that they made to this and the changes. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a revolutionary upgrade to the old MXT275. I would say it's more of 2 different use cases. So again, I'm going to walk you through the MXT115. I'm going to kind of show it in action, and then I'm going to compare it to the MXT275 and tell you which one makes sense for which type of setup, so that again, if you are thinking of mounting a radio in your truck for overlanding or camping or off-roading, you'll know which one is right for you. Now, this one is about $30 to $50 cheaper than the MXT275, so there's also a cost component that we'll consider. So let's get into the MXT115P mountable GMRS radio.
Understand where it came from, but you got it, my got it. It began in the land of the sandstorm. I fought it, though I wanted everything to do with what you give to me. Loosening my grip.
All right, guys, so I did just sort of want to start by walking you through everything that comes with this radio, because, you know, again, this is the most budget-priced mountable GMRS radio that they've got. This is still a 15-watt GMRS two-way radio, just like the MXT275, but there are a couple of big differences between this and the 275. So let's start by just walking through what comes in the box. So of course you get the main radio unit itself. One of the best things you can ever get is stickers. So they do send you a Midland sticker, so you can put that on your window. You get a mounting bracket for your mic, so you can use screws if you are okay screwing into your dash, or they also give you a 3M adhesive for the back of this, so you could just 3M adhesive it to the dash so you don't damage anything if you prefer. Then you get a little ghost antenna with your cable, so you can mount this. And what I did was I ran it from my 275 through my firewall up through the hood, and then I just mounted the antenna right on the hood. And then this will connect into the back of the radio right there, so that your signal comes in to the radio. Then, of course, you get a mounting bracket, which is really handy because essentially you just put a couple screws through here, which are provided. They give you hardware, and then you can just slide the main body of the radio into here. And that way, if you need to get to it, move it, access it for any reason or another, you can just take it out of the bracket without having to dismount everything. You can just slide it out of the bracket. Once it's clicked in there, though, that thing is super secure. It's not going anywhere. So it's a very secure mounting solution. And then you could basically have this right on top of your dash where it's visible. It's easy to reach all the buttons and everything. And it's just easy to use. Then, of course, you do get a fused DC plug. And then the last piece is you get your microphone. Now, this is one of the biggest differences between this and the 275. So in a second, I'm going to walk you around and I'm going to show you the 275 versus this and explain the differences. But you do get the mic with the mounting bracket on the back so that you can attach it. And it's just really super easy to install. So essentially, you're going to be bolting this to something in your truck, plugging this into your cigarette lighter, and then plugging that into the back of it, connecting your antenna and getting that somewhere on the outside of the vehicle, passing the wire through to the inside to reach the back of this unit. And then you've got your microphone for actually communicating through it. So it's a very simple, very easy setup. And for under 200 bucks, it's also kind of a no-brainer to have a GMRS radio, 15 watts, plenty powerful, in your vehicle at all times in case you need it. All right, so we are going to take this around to the front of my truck where I've got my MXT275, and I'm going to kind of show you the big differences here because they are, again, they're fairly significant, but not crazy. And that's why I say it's not really a matter of, you know, one being an upgrade over the other or whatever. It's more a matter of which one is going to work better for your setup. So as I've mentioned a couple times on this MXT115, your display is on the unit itself. Now on my 275, I actually have my unit stuffed down here between my seat. So the unit itself is hidden. And then on the microphone, it's got all the display and everything right there on it. So for me, I like this because it is mounted out of the way. It's all that you can ever see because I keep this in here 24/7 is just my microphone right there. But then if I need to change channels, if I need to change volume, if I need to, you know, check the weather or anything, I can do all that from the handheld. Now, again, on this one, it's got a much more ergonomic. All you literally basically have to do is just hit this button on the side to chat, and that's it. So if you're kind of an old school CB guy and you like having the mounted platform, you could could throw it up here, you know, on your dash or something like that where it's accessible and visible, and then you could just control everything from there and just use the sort of traditional microphone. But now let's talk a little bit about the improvements that they've made and the changes that they've made with this. One of those is it now has a USB-C charging port on it. The old one that I've got has a USB-A charging port on it. Everything's kind of moved slowly towards USB-C, so it's nice that they've upgraded that and changed it for today's technology. So if you use a lot of USB-C stuff and that would be more handy, then the 115 may be a better option, especially also because this is going to be visible and out somewhere where you can reach it. Whereas with mine, again, it's way down here. So if I actually wanted to plug something in, it's kind of a pain. Now, another thing that they did upgrade on this radio over the old 275 is they updated the way that it communicates with repeaters. So this thing is more efficient and better with repeaters than the old version. So despite them both being 15-watt radios, if you want a little bit better signal, a little bit stronger use of repeaters, then the 115 may be a better option for you than the 275 if you're okay with the display being there instead of on the microphone. So if you don't care about a remote install or stealth install, and you don't care about having all your controls on the microphone, and you literally are just always going to be on channel 16 or 20 or whatever, then this may be a great radio for you, and it can save you a few bucks. Not to mention that you also get the upgraded repeater functionality and the USB-C plug-in on the front, which is also awesome. Once again, very similar to the 275, just a different form factor, and it really just depends on how you want to mount this thing and what your preference is. All right, guys, so as you saw, the MXT115P is an awesome little radio. If you are looking to sort of more traditionally like we used to with CBs, if you're old enough like me to remember the days of CB radios, where you kind of had your head unit mounted somewhere and that's where you would do your switching, but then off-road, you didn't want to mess with that really. You wanted it visible, but you didn't want all that stuff on the handheld like the MXT275, then the 115 may be a great option for you. If you've got a spot on top of your dash, I know on a lot of these new Frontiers, they have mounting systems that go onto the dashboard up there. You could just mount this thing right up there, attach your handheld to the dash, similar to how I've done mine with my 275, and then you have 24/7 access to it. You flip the thing on, you can change your channels, you can do everything. And again, if you don't want some sort of a secret, super stealthy install like I've got with my 275, then the 115 is going to save you some money and do all the same things, plus the upgrades, USB-C charging, as well as the upgraded repeater functionality that they've got built into this thing. So great option, but either one is a good one, right? I'm getting ready to switch to the MXT575 on mine because I do a lot of off-roading, a lot of overlanding, so I want the extra power so that I can, you know, communicate further with people. But there's all different options, and the one thing that I will say is anything Midland, you can't go wrong. Their stuff is just super high quality, their support is amazing, and they're just a great company. So if you're looking for a radio, definitely consider the 115, the 275, or the 575. I will put links in the description below to all three of those, but it just depends on your setup and what your goals are, right? So again, hopefully this information was helpful for you. If it was, click that like button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to click that subscribe button, click the bell to be notified when new videos drop. I do a couple every week, usually like a gear video, sometimes like a podcast just about general overlanding, some Nissan content, do-it-yourself, budget-minded modifications and things like that. So if you're into any of that stuff, definitely would love to have you as a subscriber. Also below this video is a join button, which is just sort of a passive way to support the channel. It gets you early access to the videos and some other perks. So if that sounds good, check that out. But if you want to be more involved with all things overlanding, there's also a link to my Patreon page. And on the Patreon page, any paid member gets access to our 24/7 Discord, where we all kind of drop memes and joke and chat all day and ask questions and share products and things like that with each other. And then we also do a once-a-month Zoom call, and we're doing a couple trips a year. So we've been to West Virginia, we've been down to Land Between the Lakes, we survived a tornado one time about a year ago, and it was a ton of fun. And we've all gotten to kind of know each other and become friends, and it's just been awesome. So definitely check out the Patreon if that sounds good to you. And then, of course, there's also a link to my website where I've got funny overlanding camping themed patches and stickers, things like "Don't burn your wiener" and "It's a hot dog," or "I hate people so I camp." So if you want stickers for your rig or patches for your headliner, definitely check those out through the link in the description below. And then last but not least, there's a link to the Newbie Overlanders Facebook group, which is totally free to join, and different from the other big groups. We don't allow bullying. We don't allow a bunch of self-promotion. So you're not going to see a bunch of stuff for sale. You're not going to see a bunch of posts about, hey, check out my YouTube channel, subscribe, that kind of stuff all gets booted out. And it gives you a place to ask questions, or if you're more experienced, to help people that are newer to overlanding and need help. So if that sounds good, check that out. But again, that will do it for the MXT115P from Midland. As I mentioned, can't go wrong with Midland stuff. So definitely click through those links in the description below to check out the different offerings they've got and pick the one that's right for you. But again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.